Hello and welcome to Space Station Guys YouTube channel. My name is Sabi and please allow me to talk in this video about SpaceX's latest in-flight abort test mission and my photos related to the mission that I was taking almost a year ago when the Demo-1 mission went to the International Space Station. On the 19th of January, SpaceX has conducted the so-called In-Flight Abort Test. This meant to test the rocket's safety emergency systems, basically to see, just in case if something happens with the rocket, the crew will be able to get away safely from the rocket and come back to Earth with parachutes, splashing down in the Atlantic Ocean. The test went flawlessly, and as it was predicted, the rocket just blew up due aerodynamic forces. Then the trunk section has separated from the vehicle. The vehicle released its drogue chutes and then the main chutes and eventually landed in the Atlantic Ocean. But less than a year ago, we were lucky to watch SpaceX actually launching its first so-called Demo-1 mission to the International Space Station. During this mission, the SpaceX Crew Dragon was launched atop a Falcon 9 rocket. It made it to space safely, it separated from the second stage, and it started making its way to the International Space Station. The first stage of the rocket safely landed on a floating barge on the Atlantic Ocean. After carefully raising its orbit, slowly it was catching up in the International Space Station, and then it was approaching it from a certain angle, but it was all automated, so they were also testing the docking mechanisms and systems of the Crew Dragon spacecraft. Eventually, they have managed to safely dock to the Harmony aft end docking ports. This time around, they are not using the Canadarm2 to actually berth the spacecraft, but instead the spacecraft is perfectly capable of docking itself by its guidance system. So it was tested for the very first time and it was a great success. Later the astronauts entered the Crew Dragon and I was lucky enough to actually see and photograph the International Space Station with my 10-inch Dobsonian telescope and actually identify the SpaceX Crew Dragon docked to the Harmony module. You can see that white blob. That is basically the Crew Dragon spacecraft. As far as I'm concerned, I am the only person who have managed to take a photograph during the Demo-1 mission as the Crew Dragon was docked to the International Space Station. After 8 days of mission duration, the SpaceX Crew Dragon safely undocked from the space station, re-entered Earth's atmosphere and splashed down in the Atlantic. As I'm usually manually tracking the International Space Station, I am using high frame rate camera to capture as many frames as possible. In average, I take around 90 to 100 frames per second with my ZWO camera, and what you see in this footage is basically all those frames which has the International Space Station on it. You can see that my manual tracking is not accurate at all. The International Space Station randomly appears on my screen, i.e. my field of view, and then I can use these frames, I can sort out these frames and I can just basically keep the best and the sharpest one. Sometimes I can stack these photos just like with planetary images, and then I can enhance the details of my photograph. Thank you for watching, and if you like my work, please subscribe on my Patreon channel. Thank you very much.